How's it going, everyone? My name is System Z, and today I've got another tutorial for you. So if you saw my 5 Minecraft designs for exterior video, then you're gonna know what this build is. But essentially, a lot of people requested that I teach how to build the house that was featured in that video. If you haven't seen the video, I really suggest you check it out. It'll be very helpful for this tutorial. But anyways, this is a tutorial for that house. Enjoy. Alright, to go ahead and get started, you're going to want to go ahead and get these blocks: oak wood, stone bricks, white hardened clay, orange wool, spruce wood stairs, and spruce wood slabs. Now, I will say I'm using a resource pack, but you can find the resource pack down below. It's my own one. It essentially customizes the white stained clay and orange wool. Orange wool is thatch, whereas this is more of a washed out brick. If you're not using my resource pack, you can easily just find similar colors, and it should look the same. But let's go ahead and get started by placing one wooden block there, and that's the tutorial, guys. I'm just kidding. And go ahead and count 5 blocks with the stone brick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that, and place one more there. Next, we're going to go over to this side and place 3 blocks in between and place one wooden block there, just like that, and do it on the other side as well. The next thing we're going to do is go 1 block inwards, just like that, and place one wooden block. Go one more just like that, bring it in, and fill out that shape essentially, just like that. And this is going to create our foundation. Now you'll notice this is like a corner shape. This is really what I wanted to go for, mainly because I wanted to have an overhang in this corner. And again, if you watched that video I mentioned in the intro, then you would definitely know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched that video, you can click on screen to see that now. Let's go ahead and continue by placing 3 wooden blocks all the way up, just like this, on each pillar. And once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and fill each side in with the white stained clay. And don't worry about doors and windows, because we can add those later. Once you've done that, go ahead and go to all the pillars once again and add 1 more block to each side. Don't worry, this will make much more sense once it's all complete. And once you've done that, connect each pillar with a horizontal wooden beam all the way across. Make sure the directions are going the proper way. So for example, if I'm going this way, I'm doing that as opposed to that way, which makes sense. I mean, it's obvious, but definitely want to explain that. And the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add 1 block to this side, just like that. And this is going to be really weird, but it'll make sense in the end, just like everything else. But on this side, we're going to do 2 instead of 1. And the reason for this is because I want this main back rectangle, this 5x3 rectangle, to be the main area of the house, whereas I want the front here to be smaller and just kind of an added feature, an extension, if you will. So once you've done that, go ahead and fill it in with white hardened clay. And to do this, you're just going to create this 2x3 rectangle and add 1 on top. Whereas on this side, you're going to do a 2x3 rectangle and then another layer, so a 3x3 with 1 on top. And you're going to do that on both sides. And once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and fill in each side with about 2 blocks on this side and 1 on this side. Now the next thing we're going to do is again going to be very confusing, because a lot of people don't really know how to do roofs that well. But this should be a very simple process. If you get confused or lost at all, please go back and watch the video or pause if you need. But basically just follow the general design. So for example, we're going to go 1 block here, 1 block on top, and just follow that design. Like I said, follow the shape, and then add 1 block once again. And then go ahead and add 1 overhang, like 1 block wide overhang on that, just like that. And you're going to do that on pretty much both of these sides and connect those up. Now this side's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do the same thing, but you'll notice that it's going to clash with this side. But don't worry, it's a very simple process. Basically just add 1 down as you would on this side. Don't worry about the shape, because it all flows in the end. It looks really nice once it's all put together. But again, you're just going to do the same thing as you can see I'm doing here. And then on this side, just bring it 1 down just like that. And that's the roof design. Now, before I continue, I will say that in the video I've mentioned a lot throughout this build, I kind of messed up the roof. I added a lot of half slabs and stairs to give it a really messy look. I'm not going to do that for this tutorial because it looks great without it. But if you'd like to do that, just go watch that video and you can kind of see what I did. It's a very simple process. I don't know about you, but this house looks extremely uneven. It's very top heavy. So how do we fix that? Basically by adding feet. And to do this, we're just going to add little pillars just like this to each main corner. So we're not going to do that here, for example, and this is because we're going to have another overhang here. But basically just on each corner, as I said, right there. Do not do it over here though. So just leave that space empty and leave this space empty. Next, we're going to add these little extrusion pieces. I don't really know what to properly call these other than extrusion pieces, but I do these on pretty much every build. It's again just for support and it makes it look complete in my opinion. Again, do not do it on this side. It will make sense in the end. While that does look a little bit better, I'm not done. I always like to add a little bit more support. So let's go ahead by adding one stair and then an upside down stair, and then one normal stair, just like that. Followed by a half slab in the middle with one more on top. And I'm going to do this pretty much on each side. This is something I do on all builds that I have these little extrusion pieces because it adds support to the vertical or the horizontal feel of it. It all kind of connects together and makes it look extremely sturdy. So go ahead and do that pretty much on each side just like that. Next, you're going to go ahead and place one stair on each of the feet, just like this, just right on top. And that's going to complete the overall shape. And this is pretty much where you get to decorate everything. Now, what we're going to do first is create a furnace. And we're going to put that right back here. Now, before we continue, we need to go ahead and get the proper resources. So we're basically going to be using everything cobblestone. So just go ahead and search cobblestone, grab yourself some stairs and the full block, of course, not the monster egg block, just the full block right there, as well as cobblestone walls. Now, you can really do this any way that you like. It's a very random process, but I am going to be doing one that I specifically made for this build. It's going to be a little confusing, but you can copy if you want, but don't feel obligated. Just kind of do the same thing. And basically what you're going to want to do is build up 3 blocks just like this. So this is a 3x3 square. Go ahead and tear these center blocks away as well as these up here except for this one. Now go ahead and add one stair there, a full block there, one stair there, and then kind of carry it out through there. Now again, this is going to seem very weird and it's just because this is already kind of planned out. Again, you can really do anything you want here. Just make sure it looks a little bit similar. Basically just make it look like rubble. Very broken and messy cobblestone. That's all I do here. Next, you're going to basically place one there, a full block here, a normal block just like that, a normal stair, another full block, one more like that. And again, this is a very weird process, but in the end, it all kind of adds together and just creates this really nice effect. Now in the center here, we're going to go up to about there. And, well, maybe a little bit lower, actually. We'll kind of try and, like I said, this is even difficult for me. This is definitely one of the weirdest processes that I normally go with. It's definitely a different shape that I'm used to. It's hard looking at it at a different angle than I typically do. But we're going to do, like I said, one there, a block there, and then one on top. One like that on the back. And then on the side here, we're going to place a stair like that. One block and then a stair, and that'll create the main shape there. Next, we've got to make the little tower, and to do this, just add 2 blocks, or actually just 1 block up, followed by 2 cobblestone stairs, or not stairs, just the what are they called, the walls, just like that. Now, one thing you can do is add smoke using cobwebs. Mine is retextured, but this looks good without the retexture. I mean, a lot of people do this, as you know. Now, I do have one tip. This is something I always say. Make sure before you go placing these that you check around your server and see what the wind current is. Because if you have a lot of builds or, you know, even just houses, anything that has some sort of current with smoke, and they're all over the place, it doesn't look as real. But if you have all of it going in one direction, it really captures that moment perfectly. But that's pretty much the furnace. This is a very complicated design, so if you want to go ahead and pause the video and look at it now, go for it. I definitely recommend it. Otherwise, just turn the video on slow and kind of follow what I did. But seriously, you can really get away with doing this in your own pattern. I messed it up. This is probably different than what I normally do, but yeah, it still works. I mean, it's perfectly fine. Next, we're going to come around to the corner and go ahead and add that overhang. And to do this, basically just follow the pattern that I go with. Again, this is one of those things that I've just made perfect, and I think it looks, great. So, I mean, it's really just one of those things that you're going to have to follow along with. Otherwise, don't worry about copying it specifically. I definitely recommend you guys come up with your own designs and be creative as possible. But that's pretty much the design for the overhang, and then you're going to add one column here made out of the walls, the cobblestone walls, and just normal fences. And that's pretty much going to do it for this one, and then we're going to come around to this side and do another one. And for this one, we're basically just going to do a design like this. It is a little weird, but again, just follow along if you can. I believe that's the right one. And then add 2 cobblestone walls and bring the fences all the way up, just like that. And that's going to do it for the overhangs and pretty much all the external features. This is pretty much what I talked about in that video I keep mentioning, so please go check that out if you have any more questions. Again, you can click on screen now to see that. Now we may as well go ahead and place the doors. So to do that, grab spruce wood, stairs, and planks and just place 1 plank there and 2 upside down stairs along with 1 stair in the middle. And then you're going to get some overhangs, or well, slabs, just the normal wood slabs, and do that design, followed by some oak fences there, and then the door right in the middle. Now I do recommend that you place a spruce wood plank here because we will have the door facing inwards just like that. So in order to have it roll smoothly, I would definitely add that block there. Now for the windows, it's pretty much a simple design. You're just going to place 1 block of glass wherever you want the window, 2 ladders right beside it, and a wooden trapdoor right above it. And we're going to do those on pretty much all corners except for the ones that have, something in the way, just like that. So we're going to do one there, we're going to do one here. Now there is something you could do differently on this one. Actually, you know what, we're not going to do one here now that I think about it, because something will go there. So actually on the bottom floor, don't add any at all, and you'll see, well, I guess you can add one here. You'll see why in the end. It's pretty much impossible to even see out of them when you really get done with the build, but that's pretty much the window design. Now that bottom one is optional. You do not have to add it. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and remove it just because, again, we probably won't even be able to see out of it. But yeah, so go ahead and add those on the top just like that, and we'll continue on with the final steps. Next, we have my personal favorite. This is where we fill in the overhangs with some cool blocks, just like this, and just kind of develop a shape, and this makes it look much more in use. So for this overhang, I'm using hay bales, whereas on this one, I'm going to be using crates, which again is something from my own texture pack, but just find something similar in color, or even just use chest for this. And of course, the hay bales is something that's in every texture pack, the default texture. And that's going to pretty much complete the overhangs. And next we're going to get some birch leaves and just go around and add them. Now I used to say that bushes were bad and just should not be added, but if you do it in moderation, it's really not that bad. Just don't make it where it's all the way up to the roof to the point where it looks overgrown. I wanted this house to look very natural, just something that's been there for a while but not completely abandoned. Just something that there's someone still living in it, of course, and it's just, it's kind of like a garden type house. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically just try and find the style, keep a good flow, and don't make it look too busy. It should be a very simple thing, and it doesn't need to be all over the place. Now you can see I'm doing a little bit of random placement here. I'm just trying to find a good system that works. It is a little weird. I think that'll work. And again, just kind of continue on with it and just add them all over the place, not all the way up, and definitely don't put them anywhere back here, because if you do, then it might, in theory, burn because of the furnace, the heat, and all that. So don't add too much on the back there. Just kind of try and keep a good, calm growth going. It's definitely not meant to look overgrown and not kept or anything like that. It's just supposed to look very clean, but still a little bit more one with nature. But that is pretty much going to do it for this build. I'm not going to do the pathway because I do want to do more tutorials that have pathways. But again, that is pretty much how you build this house, the one from that video, in Minecraft. Now I will go ahead and say one thing you can do is add trapdoors on the little edges here. Now, I mean, you could do that. It looks fine. I kind of like it with the original, though, because it kind of has more character and a little bit more color and expands the palette a little bit more. But, again, that's up to you guys. Now, let me know if you built this. If you did, make sure to send photos of it on Twitter. If you did your own addition and kind of made changes and made it your own, please send that to me on Twitter. I'd love to see it. You can find my Twitter down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.